Hello, this is Sarah, Sarastrology, and for this video I'm going to be talking about the concepts of music, color, and astrology, how they are basically all the same thing. Now I'm going to be explaining it in the way I interpret it with my own slight spins. Although some of the first astrologers in the Western world in ancient Greece believed in this and were the ones who came up with the original idea. And one of these astrologers that I'm most referring to is Pythagoras. Now, Pythagoras was a mathematician as well as an occultist and an astrologer. His name may be familiar to you when you think of geometry and Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But what most do not realize about Pythagoras was that one of his main contributions was actually to astrology and music. Now, Pythagoras lived in a time and was of a mind that numbers had a kind of mystical or magical powers attributed to them. They had different properties. They were their own beings. But he was also one of the early scholars to study wave and sound. So with the interest and knowledge that he acquired, he made up a theory that would standardize how music is played, which is the same as it is what we use today, based on the chromatic scale. To demonstrate this and how he kind of figured out these ratios and everything, he invented the monochord, which was a single string instrument that demonstrated and illustrated how the rules of fractions and ratios apply to music notes and their different frequencies. So with these fractions, he divided them up into 12. And what in astrology has 12? Well, of course, the 12 zodiac signs. He divided them up into 12, giving us what we would call an octave. One thing we need to realize about Pythagoras was not only did he think or believe numbers were powerful, but also music and sound. These also had certain properties to them. And descendants from the school of thought, such as Plato, believed that everything in the universe possessed a soul, and that anything and everything that had a soul was moved by music. Now, people of ancient Greece and these scholars, their idea of a soul and our more modern idea of a soul was very different. So when you take that into account when you're learning about this, so when we say soul, it's slightly different. I'm not really sure what exactly, because it's such an abstract concept. I mean, really, what is a soul? But anyway, but everything is moved by music. Anything that has a soul is moved by music, which is how, in a way, they explained how and why constellations, the planets and constellations, affect us. If everything has a soul and is moved by music, this, of course, includes planets as well. They all have a sound or a frequency. And if we think about this, it kind of makes sense. There are these huge objects in space orbiting around, all varying matters and orbiting at different speeds, and so they must create waves of some kind, of course on an astronomical scale. So of course the limitations of the human body and the human ear, they are inaudible to us. Now this is just a theory, but it kind of makes sense. It does and it doesn't. So basically each planet and sign of the zodiac are attributed to a different music note, and that is my main point. And the notes that they create affect our moods and atmosphere. So when we are born, the chords or individual notes that are present in our time and location of birth sets the tone of our lives. It also gives our general personalities and personal attributes that we possess. So thus astrology derives its interpretation in that way. What we hear affects our mood, and if you think about, I know me personally, if I am in an environment with a very annoying sound, or there's actually a frequency going on that actually affects, I find out later, once I turn off that, whatever is making that sound, it's almost like a veil is lifted and I feel much better. In a way, what I'm saying is that astrology works in that same way. The planets orbiting around us affect us in that same way. So with that, I have broken down the signs in the following manner. Based on the chromatic scale. So C equals Aries, C sharp or D flat equals Taurus, D equals Gemini, D sharp or E flat Cancer, E Leo, F Virgo, F sharp or G flat Libra, G Scorpio, G sharp or A flat Sagittarius, A Capricorn, A sharp or B flat Aquarius, and B Pisces. Let's also work with the planets, and the planets, it's broken down into what their rulers are. So, for example, Mars equals C, moon is D sharp, etc. That's all for this video, and in my next video I will be discussing finally how color relates to astrology and music. So thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe to this channel. And do not forget to check out my website, www.sarastrology.moonfruit.com.